Hey guys, Sims 4 just had a very big patch day. Let's take a look at all the additions all players got free. There's more to talk about that I didn't cover in my first video on this, stuff we didn't know, so they're kind of a pleasant surprise. With that said, let's do it. First, the inventory update. This is the single biggest change in my eyes because it impacts all players. You no longer need to sell items one by one or find yourself looking for something in this huge sea of junk. First, there's a multi-select mode you can access with your inventory open by pushing the button or pressing E. They thought to make a hotkey, how nice is that? So you can pick multiple objects with this mode on and sell them all at once. You can even use Control A to select everything and then just deselect the two things you want to keep. This will save you some clicking. The new inventory also features a favorites function which goes along with everything else. You can show only your favorites or filter objects by category, and there are a lot of categories. You can view only skill books or gardening edibles or flowers. You can easily find what you just got with the new button. I don't know yet how long they stay in new just yet, but nearly everything about this is fabulous. While I don't really feel bill updates are bigger than, say, the next edition, but we'll use it to roll right into that. The bill system is updated to account for both power and water usage. They dropped the regular lot bill portion a bit to make up for this. Let's say Bob Pancakes had a big lunch and you have him over. He drops a deuce so big it breaks your toilet. Well, now you're going to be charged for water until you fix it, so get on it. If you buy a lot of electronics, you'll be charged while they're on. Each object in build mode shows how much power it takes to run. Better refrigerators cost more power. High-end computers cost more power. So having more and more high-dollar stuff is gonna raise those bills. But how do we get power and water exactly? Well, Off the Grid has also been updated a lot to make more sense. It was a good idea they came up with, it's just that it wasn't really implemented well. Off the Grid is a base game lot trait that restricts power and water usage unless you actually have some on that lot. You're not connected to the grid or city plumbing. With base game Off the Grid, you accept you have no access to power without eco lifestyle, but you can get water. There's a new category in build mode that shows off the grid ready items, including lights that function off the grid. They said they made sure candles will work without power. Plumbing has stats that show how much water it uses. The high-end stuff takes more. So if you're off the grid and you need water, you'll need to get it from fishing spots or water that Sims can wade in, like the beaches of Sulani. So you'll need to get the water you plan to use. When you run out, no more plumbing objects. There isn't a way for base game players to get power, but they did cover water. In Eco Lifestyle, you can expand this by having objects that generate power and water. My tip is to go into bills and change water into auto store instead of sell. That way the water you gather is kept on lot. You get 5 units of water each time you gather from a fishing spot. You can store up to 300, but note that there's a 45-minute cooldown on gathering water. It's a very short one, but it's there, so don't let it trip you up. They also made some recipes that really require ingredients, like the boiled frog hot pot, which will feed your sim through frog catching at the pond. Firemen and Repo Men are also new. And let's just say you're more likely to see the first one and won't see the second unless you deliberately want to. Put a fire alarm on your lot to have firemen arrive to help stop a fire, though you can actually use the phone to call them. In my experience, the fire was out before they got there. It was a small fire, but aren't they all? If you've ever played any other Sims game, you know the Repo Man shows up to take your stuff to cover your bills. I am not waiting a week for him to arrive because it's incredibly anticlimactic. You'll just have to take my word on it. Look around in build mode and you'll see that many wall coverings, flooring, and windows have actual gameplay impacts now. They increase the environment score and they have fire resistance. Isn't that cool? So yeah, the metal shouldn't be catching on fire, right? But wood will. Some of my icons actually said they increase eco footprint before I installed that pack, so I think that's a bug. You can turn this off in gameplay options if you find it annoying. We have some new build stuff. First, in build mode, you'll now find ladders. They're found in the stairs area. You just click this little icon. You can climb them, but toddlers and pets can't. You'll need to provide them an alternate route, but it's cool to make a place for adults to hang out, assuming that your sim has an actual friend. Also, you can now hold Alt when placing doors and windows and get the expected behavior. You see, this lets you fine-tune placement if you want something slightly offset and don't want it to snap. Builders rejoice. And now we mourn the I don't want free earbuds thing that pops up in so many of my videos. Boy, am I gonna miss that. I feel like they've heard our rants about this. See, they decided instead they'd just give them to you without asking. I don't know why you can't just buy them. They think some of us don't know how, I guess. We don't need pop-ups or hand-holding. We're big boys and girls. They also made it so you can click a door and pick no trespassing. You can prevent vampire visits, neighbors, and solicitors. It seems you can block the welcome wagon. They said they also made it so that you'll get less phone calls. And oh my god, thank you! Kids now have styled looks, and that is great, I guess. So I don't have to dress every single one I make. Next, guys, let us copy outfits so that we can just make one and put it in all 8 categories if we want, and store our favorite outfits and cast between sims. Come on, please. I don't want to look like a townie just because I'm lazy and my sim changed to winter wear. They also partnered with MAC Fashion or something and made about a dozen new makeups. I guess you should go buy their makeup. Be forewarned, some people are having trouble loading save games. My friend had an uncomfortable mood without it showing why he was uncomfortable. I had to reset sim to stop cloud gazing because they were stuck in a loop. Some players are having to resort to backup saves. If you use mods, you should already know, but wait on those modders to get around to updating for this patch, as it broke everything related to UI modifications among other areas. This one is going to take some work to get fixed up, so be a bit patient if you must have certain mods. And remember, the modders have other things to do and a life, so don't pester them. So I am now covering Eco Lifestyle, and I already got like 4 pages out today. Go caffeine! I covered the patch, we have Eco Lifestyle cheats, new traits and aspirations, and I published some gameplay ideas. I'm on it, though my initial reaction to this pack is lukewarm. No one can say I didn't say something. I got a copy through Game Changers, and I've been looking around, and I'm not fond of eco footprint and neighborhood policies. They're used in a strange way that make me feel powerless. I'll talk more about that in a couple videos. I'm going to cover gameplay features in depth first. Thanks for checking out my video. If you liked it, like it and share it, or support me on Patreon if you dig my style. I will be back.